Hello, my name is Tia, also known as Costume Fiend, because I'm both evil and excessively fond of dressing up. I was debating whether or not I wanted to do something on theme for Pride Month because I already talked about The Crow and DuckTales, and it's not like they're really staples of queer culture, but I also didn't really want to feel bound to what time of year it is to talk about the things that I'm interested in. That being said, I've decided to dive into the manga She Loves to Cook and She Loves to Eat by Sakomi Yuzaki. I hope I pronounced that correctly. If you don't know about the plot, it's really basic. It's essentially about two women who are neighbors, and like the title implies, one loves cooking and the other loves eating. Eventually, they both come out as lesbians, but at the start of the story, neither of them had that figured out yet. I found out about it on Twitter, which I'm never calling X, and I ordered the first volume online. It got my attention, I think, because it was both slice of life and about grown women. Personally, I'm almost 30, and while I do still enjoy some stuff that I know is meant for kids, I also like to read stories about people closer to my age or older, especially when it comes to queer representation. There are things that are likable and relatable about both characters, which is always an added bonus. For example, Nemoto, the one who loves to cook, has a moment in the series where she just straight up looks up romantic feelings definition and romance between friends, as well as a sexual orientation test, and that was both hilarious and a mood all at the same time. I know for me, with the benefit of hindsight, I was probably always aware of my interest in girls. I actually don't think I developed a genuine interest in guys until around middle school, and even then, I'd say high school is when all my confusion came to a head. Having access to the internet was both extremely helpful and terrible all at once. Another relatable Nemoto moment was when she casually talked about how difficult her period was, and Kasuga, the one who loves to eat, made her realize some of her pain wasn't exactly normal and that she should get help if she needs it. This is possibly TMI, but I don't really care. I know from experience that even when schools aren't tight lipped about puberty and the human body, when it comes to those of us with uteruses, a lot of stuff is still not discussed at length. So it's easy to assume, based off of the way other people talk in the media and the way media portrays periods, is that we're all kind of suffering in a broad sense. However, there comes a point when you start to notice that maybe you're dealing with something different, and the manga did a good job at pointing out that issue in a way that felt natural. It also points out the ways heteronormativity and gendered expectations can turn something like cooking into more than just a hobby. People constantly assuming that Nemoto likes to cook because she's trying to attract male attention is understandably frustrating for her. And as someone who likes the artistry of makeup and never really thinks about men when I'm putting it on, I can definitely get how annoying that can be. On the flip side, we have Kasuga, who has an appetite that most people don't think women even have, as well as a slightly more stoic personality. And while I'm not much of a foodie, I do know what it's like to not be overly expressive and have people make assumptions about that because we stereotype girls as upbeat and kind of motor mouths, which there's nothing wrong with, obviously, but it's, just one personality type, and girls, like anyone, come in a variety. It's these things that bring these two women together and make for a really cute slash sweet story. I've only finished volume 2 recently, but I do believe there are a few more queer characters that are going to be introduced, including someone asexual, which I feel is almost never represented. I feel like in the LGBTQIA plus community, there are a lot of conversations surrounding what representation we want and need, and it does sometimes feel like people get very defensive very quickly and push the idea of one kind of representation as better than the others. I personally feel like that's largely a waste of time because, as is the case with any marginalized group, we aren't a monolith. We all need and want different things, and that's okay. She Loves to Cook and She Loves to Eat is definitely something I wish I had in my late teens or early 20s, but I have it now, and I'm grateful for that. Do I also want sapphic romances that are messy and gritty or even at times problematic? Sure. But I also love the soft, squishy stuff too. After all, I'm bisexual and I both resent and reject the idea that I have to pick one thing. In any case, slice of life stuff is like this grounded thing, and we need it sometimes because the world is terrible and bigoted, and you want something that can calm your nervous system. Even with my relationship with food being a little complicated, I would say this manga absolutely feels like a comforting meal, which I can only assume was the goal. Therefore, if you haven't already, I recommend picking up a copy and giving it a try. Until then, you can leave a like if you like this, and I hope this either helps you fall asleep or find a new manga to enjoy. Have a good one.